Hello, everyone. Yes, I can see we're getting a few tapping in chat. I just thought I'd say hello to anybody that's popping in right now. I'm going to mute my laptop so we don't get the echo. Now, I'm not going to be able to talk a lot in this chat, to be honest, because I'm going to try and get another wing done in this butterfly. So, as you can see, it's a big project I've started. And what I did is I printed out a big image of a butterfly using AI. And now, before I get to fill it all in, I've got to actually put those outlines in with UV resin. And what I did is I mixed up some UV resin and some Create and Bloom charcoal bloom drops. And it actually comes out with a really nice black that cures under UV. So I've got my torch, as you can see. Woo! And I've got my UV resin in a needle top bottle, which I keep inside a black glove. That way it keeps it protected from any daylight, and it means I can keep using it over and over again. So there we go. And I am only going to glove up one hand because I'm only going to be using a little bit to get those lines in. So I am being a little bit naughty, guys. I would always recommend that you fully glove up if you're doing anything with resin. But I hope you're all doing well. You know, I hope you're all having a great Saturday. And this is how I relax at the end of a day. You know, it's just getting my resin done and pretty much doing resin work. You know, most of us, I think, find it relaxing. Now, when you're doing something as detailed as this, I'll be honest, it is a bit of a pain because I'm trying to get with this little, every single line I'm trying to put in. Here we go. Now the resin's flowing. But it will keep on trying to move, guys, because it is resin. And that's what you've got to remember. So literally, every line I'm putting in, I'm having to cure for 5 seconds before I go on to the next piece. So it's a very labor-intensive way of doing this, you know, and there's probably easier ways. But for me, I know I'm doing this by hand, and hopefully the result will be worth it in the end. I won't know until it's finished. And as I say, you can put a few in at a time, but as soon as you leave it for more than 2 or 3 seconds, what happens is that resin starts to pull together and you don't get your lines. So you have got to keep doing it little by little and curing it little by little. And as I say, it's a bit of a pain of a process, if I'm being completely honest. But it is hopefully, well, it is for me anyway, it's quite relaxing. So that's always a good thing. Good way, it's almost mind-numbingly, all you've got to do is follow the lines, really. So actually, it's quite a nice way to relax at the end of an evening and hopefully just get another piece done. But if you've never done this before, guys, try it. You know, you might have fun with it. The plan is, once I've done the outline, I'm going to use some of those tiny turner powders and really burnish them and hopefully create an amazing effect in this butterfly. But as you can see, I'm just trying to follow the pattern that's underneath the mold. And I'm not expecting this to be perfect because I'm doing it by hand with a needle tip bottle. If this came out perfect, I would be shocked. But I'm hoping that I'm getting enough detail in there to still give me a really detailed butterfly wing. And hopefully it's still going to be a gorgeous piece. So if you do, once you get the hang of it, you can probably do 4 or 5 lines at once and then cure them. But yeah, is it making sense to everyone? There we go. We've got a little fraction of that wing done now. Yeah, it's great to, I've just seen your comment actually, Lorena. It is great to de-stress. And literally, it's just something that it's going to take time. I don't think anybody could do this fast because if they did, they wouldn't be able to get that detail in of these different depths of lines. And I'm hoping that once it's all complete, we can just burnish those powders in and get the most beautiful butterfly, hopefully, we've ever seen. Now, when you get to a big piece like this, so this big black area, this one needs to be in black. So actually, it's a lot easier. You just go around with your needle tip and fill it in. Doesn't matter if it slightly pulls because that's going to be solid and black, like so. But yeah, literally 5 or 10 seconds each piece, and it cures it in there nicely. But yeah, it's very labour intensive, I think, doing this. Hopefully the result will be worth it in the end, but we won't know until it's done. I'm just wondering if we should start going into that centre yet, but I'm not going to just yet. Just going to continue with this. And then try and get a drop around there as well. I say you can probably get 2 to 3 lines in at once if you're quick, before it all starts pulling in. So now again, I'm just going to follow on from this one and fill it in. But I'm hoping that this will be the most detailed butterfly I've ever done. And I don't think I've seen anybody do on quite this detail before. So hopefully it'll be a YouTube first as well. And hopefully it'll just give you guys a bit of inspiration to do your own thing. It doesn't have to be a butterfly. You know, you can use this technique with anything. I actually did a Christmas piece with EcoPore, I think, and Jack Skellington, sort of Nightmare Before Christmas. And that turned out really cool. But as I say, it just takes time to build up the design and get it in. I think tattooists would be very good at this effect, because obviously their tattoos sometimes take hours and hours. But it's just about being careful, taking your time, and filling in the outline wherever you want it black, and making sure that you cure in between. But as I say, this is probably going to be one of the most boring lives that you're on, I'm afraid, because I can't even see the chat. But as you can see, we're making progress. Now, what I want to do, I'm conscious that I'm going to want to put my wrist there in a minute, so I'm going to start filling in these bits. So I'm going to go from the body and hopefully just follow that line all the way through. Try not to scratch my mold in the process. And if it's looking a little bit thin, I just add a tiny bit on like that. And then the next one, I'm going to pull it from this one. And I've not got the steadiest of hands today. It's probably not the best idea for me to be doing this. There we go. And you can just see in the center there on that line there, where it's already started to try and separate. And that's what I was saying before. You see that little gap? That's because I left it for too long before curing. So now I'm going to have to go back over it and just make sure it is cured. There we go. And then go over it again. So as you can see, it's going to take a while. My plan is tonight, hopefully, to finish this wing. and then get the other two done tomorrow. Where does that join? I think it joins down here. So again, I'm just going to join up here. And again, it's just about applying gentle pressure on the needle tip bottle as you're going. Hopefully by doing that, you don't get the big puddles everywhere and you get just the right amount to create the lines that you need. But hopefully this is going to be a stunning piece when it's done. And the hours that I'm putting in will be worth it. And that's the thing with resin, guys. The more you put into it, the more you get out. And don't get me wrong, I love the fun pours as well, as much as anyone else, where you just throw everything in and see what happens. But I think this is where it really becomes art for me, when you're doing this much detail and spending this much time on a piece. By the time this is done, it will probably be a 10-hour piece, I think. And again, it's probably not going to use an awful lot of resin, to be fair, for something that's taken so long, which is still pretty cool. And it's for those of us that don't have big budgets, you know, this is going to take one needle tip bottle of UV resin just to get the outline in, and numerous nights worth of work. And then whatever powders you want to use. I've also had some chrome powders delivered today, so I might try some of those in this as well as the tiny turners. Not played with them yet. Resisting the urge to just open the box and play with them just because they've arrived. But as you can see, guys, it's a time-consuming process. And that's why I didn't think it'd make much of a live. But hopefully you're all still having a bit of fun in chat. I see we've still got a few in chat, so that's great. Tiki Hut's in the pool. Lucky you. I'm very envious. So here we go. Now this next one, I'm going to bring this one out, I think, from here. And just try and leave that gap. And that is just going in there like that. And then there's another thin line just here, which is joining into that one. And it will need another coat on that layer, because where I first started doing that line, unfortunately, we got a couple of those gaps. But again, just take your time and try not to rest your hand anywhere where you've gone, because you can shift that UV resin off the mold. And if you do that, it is an absolute pain to try and clean it off and start again. As you can see, I'm just trying to build this design up gradually. And that's where you need the outline behind it, because obviously both of these wings will look strange if they're not fully symmetrical. And that's where having the design printed off really helps. Bit of dried resin. Don't want you in there, mate. All right, where to go next? Let's start with this line here. Just pulling it out around there. And it's all about controlling how much resin you're putting in, because the more you put in, the more difficult it is to get these thin lines in. So just a steady flow. and then joining them up. And I should have probably picked a bit of an easier design, to be honest, but those of you that watch the channel know that I like to push myself and see what's possible, rather than just doing a basic design. And I'm always trying to push the boundaries a little bit, whether that's in how intricate the details are or in what we actually put into the resin. But you know what, makes a fun project, gives me something to do, and it helps me relax at the end of the day. And I'm probably, once this one wing's done, I'm probably going to shut the live down because I think my batteries will die on my phone otherwise. But we'll keep on trying to get as much in as we can before that happens. I always say we as well. Technically, it's just me, but hey ho. And obviously, you guys are keeping me company tonight. So tonight, I can say we. There we go. Now I'm going to, again, just put the light on it because that is going to start wanting to puddle. And it's just getting used to it. The more you play with this, I think the more you get used to it. And I think I could probably, if I had a thinner needle tip, even get thinner lines than what I'm doing here. I don't know if they do these needle tips in different thinnesses of bottles, to be honest, the nibs. And a bit of dried resin has just fallen off my hand. Come on. Right, now I'm going to fill these lines in here because these are very thin lines again. And I'm going to try and get a few in at once. But as you can see, it's gradually building that design. Now there's some really fine intricate details just in there, and I'm not going to do those because I think I could try and go too fine and then just get a puddle of black everywhere, which I don't want. And for me, I think the thinness I'm doing is as much as I dare. Because don't forget, after I've done this outline, I'm going to want to be burnishing powders onto it. And there's always a risk then that it might pull this outline off because it's only a thin UV layer going on to this mould. But I do want to make sure that these lines hopefully will stand out in the finished piece as well as the burnished powders what I put in. And then it's going to be which way round I want it, whether I want it this way, which is going to be more 3D and then fill the whole thing with resin, or whether I trust that the other side is going to look better. I don't know yet. I'm going to have a turn around now and see if there's anybody left in chat. You're probably all there chatting away amongst yourselves. Oh, we've got 13 in still. So yes, you are. They are thin, Stormy. Can I show us your tip? What, the needle tip? At least I hope that's what you mean. Not being rude. But that is the tip of the bottle. Let's see if I can get you a better picture. That's it. It's just a standard needle tip. So as you can see, it's just that standard size needle tip that I'm using. Hi Lula, in bed. Say hello to Martin for me. I hope he's all right. I'm presuming he's in bed with you anyway. So just being careful to hopefully get every line in that I want in. And then when it's all done, hopefully it'll be strong enough for me to still burnish. There's different colours of powders, and I've not decided what colours I'm going to use yet. But it probably will be the Tiny Turners, I think. I've got quite a collection of those now, and they come out with some stunning effects, especially just burnished onto the silicone moulds. But we're getting there with this wing, gradually. And if you can colour in the lines, you can probably do this technique, guys. More about patience than being an artist. I don't actually class myself as an artist. I think I just learn. I get a vision in my head and learn how to make it happen one way or another. And to me, that's how I create my art. And I think it's just about keep on going until you get what you want. And there's always a way. You just need to find the right way for you to get that result. Actually, I seem to be a bit quicker than I was last time. It's only taken me half an hour for this wing so far. But I think I am going to go in with these lines as well, just because I think they'll give us a bit more depth in the centre. There we go. I think that is that top wing. And I could perhaps put one more line across here. Let's try. There we go. So there we go. We've just completed that wing. I'm going to turn around now and see if there's anybody left in chat before I decide whether or not I carry on and do the next wing live or whether I call it a day at that. But there we go. That's another part of that wing done. And I'm pretty happy with that. So far, so good. Have we got anyone left? Oh, God, we've got more people in now. We've got Annette from Florida. Oh, you are still here watching. Do you guys want me to continue? Let's have a look at my battery. Still got 10-15%. We should be okay to do another wing, hopefully. Okay. But as you can see, I'll give you a bit of a close-up now. And that's where we are at so far. You know, that's that beautiful detail just with that needle tip and that black UV resin. And I can tell already this is going to be gorgeous. Just relining it up. You want to make sure that you're not going too far off your lines. Cheers. Now, what I tend to find is a bit easier, if you've got like a big dark pool like this bit here, is to do that first before you go onto your smaller lines. So let's do the other tip of this wing and fill it in. And these are the bits when you're just filling in the black, where you haven't got to worry about the lines. You just go around in small circles, puddling your resin and literally colouring it in. And obviously the resin all pulls together anyway, like so. What time are we on? Okay, it's 9:45 in the UK right now. Can I get these done before I go to bed? That is the question. Because I have got to be up early, as always. Right. Now here, I want to get it and leave that little gap just there, because that's what we did on the other one. But on this one, the gap isn't as pronounced. I don't know if that's because of the angle of the wing, but it's still got a few of those little tiny bits in. So I want to get those in first. And I'm just noticing it's not on a very level surface. I've got a bump underneath, which is a resin drip off of my universe. It's gone now. And again, I've just got to line it up again, making sure that it's level. And again, I can see now that I need to go along this one and this one. Those of you that were on the live, though, I'm intrigued. What did you think about the clothing range idea? Do you think it's something that the resin community might get a hold of and sort of want to get involved with? Lula wants a hoodie. Okay, well, there's a few hoodies on there already. And again, guys, they're not cheap, but that's unfortunately because I still have to source the printers. I have to source the materials for the printers to do, as well as the designs and as well as to set everything up. So they're not cheap. The average t-shirt, I think, is around about £30 UK money. And the average hoodie is around about 50. They are very comfy though, because I've had them before. And I don't think it's a bad price for something that's probably quite unique. And there won't be many people getting them. They're not going to be in the high streets, I don't think. But I'm going to be looking into possibly doing some aprons, some baseball caps. Let me know in the chat now as well. In fact, let me know in comments rather than in the chat if there's anything clothing wise or apparel wise that you would want to see. Because if you let me know in the live chat, the problem is with that, I'm probably going to miss it because I'm focusing on this. But if you put it in comments, I can always read it after. Tank tops, yeah, I can do those. Aprons. I'm happy for you guys to send me any quote ideas you want. 100%. Put them in comments. I mean, I've got some fun ideas of my own, but I don't mind trying a few of the communities as well. I mean, let's be honest, Keep Calm and Karen On came from Karen over at the Dragon's Cave. She didn't say it herself, but she was the inspiration behind that one. Now that's just pooling a little bit there, so I'm not over. There we go, that's better. Right, and this line. I don't have granny pants. Where's this coming from? The picture I revealed the other evening was me in a pair of Adidas black shorts. Not granny pants. See, now I'm getting into a bit of a rhythm. I think I'm speeding up a little bit, which is good. Gives me hope that I can get this wings done this evening, and then I can burnish them tomorrow with the micas, and then hopefully demold it on Monday. That'll be something nice to look forward to coming home to after a day at the office. Can you believe I can't even see chat, but I've just turned around and we've got 19 in chat just watching this. Amazing you guys are. And this is certainly the most detailed piece I've tried with this UV resin technique. It's getting there though, piece by piece. And in case you weren't following the channel at Christmas, which, let's be honest, most of you weren't, this was the Nightmare Before Christmas piece that I did, using a very similar technique and then filling it with EcoPore. So I don't know if you like that. Mr. Skellington himself. Maybe it's me and my new girlfriend if I find a hot redhead, you know? Hi, Rin. I've just seen you pop in chat as well. Hope you're doing well. It should work, Rin. I've typed it in on Google as well. But again, it's not fully stocked yet. There you go. Make sure you're spelling apparel with 2 P's and 1 R. Let me know, though. I'll be intrigued if it doesn't work. But again, it's very early days, guys, so please don't judge me just on what it is, what's on there at the moment. There's going to be a lot more stuff happening on it over the next few weeks and months. It's just going to take me a little bit of time to build, get those different designs done, edited, uploaded, different products sourced, you know? And the actual layout probably needs a bit more editing as well. But it's something I'm willing to invest the time into if I can see it's got potential. All right, let's just get this line done because this is going to be a pain of a line, I can tell. But we're progressing with this beautiful butterfly, and hopefully by the end of this, we'll have both of those wings done, and then tomorrow I can just come back after a good night's sleep and burnish. But again, those of you that know me know I'm not the most patient of people. Yeah, it's working for Dawn in Hawaii. And it's not working for Claire. Make sure, as I say, double check you're spelling apparel with 2 P's, 1 A, 1 R, E L. I know when I first looked at it, I was going to spell it with either 2 R's or 2 L's. But I will be intrigued to know if it's not working in certain parts of the world. Because the whole idea of it is, hopefully, it should go worldwide. Oh, I didn't even notice those two lines in there. So actually there's a line there. And then another one just in there. Just come into that centre. And there is one on the other side that I didn't spot. On this wing. So I do want these to be symmetrical as well, so whatever I'm doing on one side, I'm hoping I can do on the other side, and then we'll get a reasonably even finish. All right, I'm going to turn around for a couple of minutes and see. So is yours working, Lula? Is that what you're saying on Android? It's working on Dawn's. Still not working for Rin. Well, maybe try, I don't know, try it from a different device. Could be that, I suppose. If it's not working on a phone, maybe try it from a laptop. But as I can say, it's only been live for about 6 hours as well. And I know with most websites, sometimes depends how you've got your security settings set up, but sometimes they won't let you go on a site until it's been live for at least a few days to try and avoid those phishing sites you get and things like that. Could be something like that, depending on your firewalls, depending on your security. I don't know. But as I say, guys, please don't judge me based on what you see at the minute. It won't look that bad in a few weeks, hopefully. I'm one of those people that if I get an idea, I'm a firm believer that you're better off just starting it and building on it, rather than having an idea, not starting something, not building it, and waiting for everything to be perfect. Because what tends to happen is if you wait for everything to be perfect, you never actually start something. Bit like YouTube. Hi Laura, can you believe we've got 24 in now? I should start doing the creation lives a bit later. Or maybe I should just not talk. You guys seem to prefer it when I don't talk and it's just you guys chatting between yourselves. Come on, hands, don't let me down. Hate it when I'm doing this and you start to get the shakes a little bit after a while. Which could very easily ruin you. Well, ruin the piece. Well, we're getting there. That's nearly another part of this wing done. It's progressing. Let's say it just takes time when you do something this detailed. Not rushing, taking your time, hopefully to get these thin little lines in and curing in between each one. No, it's not a transfer, Claire. It's just a standard round mould, this is. And then underneath it, it was an AI design that I just printed off on paper that I generated. And then we're going over it now with UV resin, which I put a little bit of black alcohol ink into. And that's what's creating these outlines. No stickers were used in the making of this piece. Not that there's anything wrong with using stickers. I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier than doing this if you find a sticker that you like. But I don't think you'll get quite the same effect. I'm hoping that by doing it this way, we're going to get almost a 3D element to it. And when I burnish those powders into the wings, hopefully you'll really be able to see a difference between what this would look like and what a sticker would look like. But as I say, it's so time consuming because you could only put a few lines in at once before it all starts to puddle together. And then you get a more blobby effect, which is not what I'm wanting. And it's because UV resin, like any resin, will try and move in your mould. There we go. So that is another wing down. I'm going to turn around and have a look at chat for a couple of seconds. And then, do you know what time are we on? 10 past 10. I'm going to finish this wing. I want this wing finished tonight. I've actually got a light box, but I can actually see through these transparent molds pretty well with teeny tiny brushes, hopefully, Gypsy Rose. um, and then once I've got the right coloured micas into those teeny tiny holes, hopefully use a softer brush over the whole thing to just burnish it in. It's getting there. It is looking pretty. And I'm actually quite impressed with the detail that I'm managing to get in. So, yeah, it's getting there slowly. And don't forget, now I could quite easily go like this now, and I'd want to lean on that piece, which would risk dislodging all that work that we've just done because it's very thin. So the UV resin could still detach from this mold, guys. So you've still got to be gentle. But look, just turn it around. You know, turn the whole thing around, and then you should be able to get access to what you're trying to get to, which is this, without putting your hand over all the rest of the wings. What do you mean fix my mic? Is it not working? Should be working. Going in and out. That's probably because I'm moving. Let me try this. Hang on a sec. I'm going to take it off my shirt now and attach it to my stand. Can you hear me now? Is that okay? It's every time I turn around, I think. But if you can hear me now, I'll leave the mic where it is. Okay, I'll leave it where it is. And then that way, if I move, the mic doesn't. So let's get on with this final wing, hopefully. And let's get it done. I'm excited to see this finished. Well, I'm not going to be finishing it tonight, though, because I want to do that as part of the main video, the burnishing part. So I am just going to try and finish the outline, is the plan. So I will pre-warn you all on this live of that. You will not see the finished product tonight. Hopefully, though, you will see the finished outline. I don't know why, but there's something about butterflies to me which is almost magical. And I love seeing them in real life as well, just flying around. Did anyone else? Sorry, I've just turned around and been distracted. Anyone else think of the commercial when he said that? Can you? Are you on about the song, Dawn? Yeah, hummingbirds as well. You're right. They are magical as well. There's just something about certain creatures, I think, where you just get a sense that they're a little bit more than just normal creatures. It sounds weird, but there's almost something magic about them. And it's like even fish. Now that's going to sound really weird. I used to have marine fish tanks, and do you know what? Some of the fish that you can get are so colourful and so beautiful. It's like they're not just fish. And I'm going to sound very strange by saying that. But I suppose every creature is beautiful in its own right. But I think some, as I say, they're just magical. There's just something about them that makes you think, actually, they're more than just a little creature. If that makes sense to anyone. Or is it a sign that I need to get to bed? Charming, Lynn. I always sound strange. I turned around and that's the only comment I saw. Charming. Well, there's no hope for your daughter now. Can't have an in-law that says things like that. You'll have to tell her mum's ruined it for her. I was just about to book a flight to Canada as well. Yeah, Jill, I don't think this is going to be a giveaway piece, to be honest. I think once it's done, it's going to be a little bit big and a little bit heavy to post, if I'm being honest. But there are still giveaways happening every day where you can win a piece of my art. Probably not on the same size as this one, though, because of postage costs. This is just a piece that I decided to do for fun, to relax, to switch off at the end of a very busy day. Before I give in about half an hour's time and hit the sack. But it is, as I say, it's very relaxing. It's a great way to switch off at the end of the day. And you're creating something at the same time. But I will pre-warn you, I'm going to have to get a move on because I think I've just had a warning come up that I'm on low battery. So if this dies mid-wing, I apologise in advance. But we're going to try and get it done if I can. It's a race against the battery now. Still, it's getting there. Oh, even my chair started creaking now, if you can hear that on the microphone. And you are watching this live, so it's not being sped up, as you can probably tell. I think until you do a piece like this and you realise that you're constantly fighting against that UV resin moving as well and puddling, you don't realise how much control you need to try and have over the resin. And we all know that resin doesn't like to be controlled. Resin likes to control us. As I say, we're making progress. I'm just hoping that my battery lasts long enough for you guys to see this finished outline before we go in and burnish everywhere tomorrow. And I just hope I'm not too rough with it tomorrow, where unfortunately there's a risk that I could lift all of this UV resin off this mould, but I'm hoping it doesn't happen after spending this much time putting the design in. So I'm going to be doing it very gently, I think, initially. in the race against the battery, we might just get this done. Hopefully. Although I have probably just jinxed it by saying that. Now on that side, right, so here's a line. Right, now on this one, we did have this one curling in. And we had the one underneath as well. So, as I say, just trying to keep on looking at the other wing that I've done as well, so that they're reasonably symmetrical. Now, I know they're not going to be perfect. I can live with that, as long as they are reasonably symmetrical. And now I'm just going to have a look around and see if there's anywhere that I think's a little bit too thin or a bit too gappy and needs a tiny bit more resin. So probably these outlines on the edge, I want them to be possibly a little bit thicker, just because they're the main outlines. But I think we're almost there, guys. So if the battery has held down, and we've done quite well. And now I'm just seeing if there's anywhere else that I think looks particularly thin, whilst I've got the UV out, that I want to go over again. And I don't want to make everywhere thick, because I actually think that will ruin the design a little bit. But anywhere where I can just see little dots missing, I want to just fill them in a little bit and make sure we're going to have that, I suppose, even lines. Now there's going to be a couple of bits where it looks like it's puddled together, but you know what, I think that will help add to the almost natural effect that we're going to hopefully get. When we burnish those powders in. And I'm just going over the whole piece again, just to make sure it's cured. And there's a couple of little bubbles on there that I just don't like, so I'm just going to cover them up. And there's one just right on that antenna. God, we've still got 24 in, guys. That's amazing. Making these antennas a little bit thicker, a little bit stronger. Not that I'm planning on peeling this one off. I've done that before, where I've burnished the powders in, then I've covered it all in a layer of clear UV, then I've peeled it off, then I've back coated it before, but I'm not planning on doing that with this piece. So I can give you all a little look-see now, I think. Hi Renee, nice to have you with us. Just as I finish putting in the UV lines in this beautiful butterfly. Quite therapeutic watching me do this. Well, I'm glad you've enjoyed it. But there we go. So we managed to get that second wing in. And literally, I don't think we're far off. That was the original design. And that's what we've got so far, guys. So I'm liking it. I think it looks lovely. But I am going to wait until tomorrow to burnish those powders in. But just look at that. Beautiful. It almost wants to fly away already. But there you go. And that was just from an image that I thought in my head. I typed in a prompt into AI to create that design. And then I thought, how am I going to get the design from paper into the mold? And there we go, UV resin. So I'm pretty happy with that. I hope you guys, it looks pretty good. I can turn around now and chat to you lot. In fact, have I got much battery left? I haven't. I've got about 3% battery left. Otherwise, there's no way of me doing that because I'm doing this live directly from YouTube rather than doing it from StreamYard, which is what I normally use. So there's not really much chance of me turning this around, or is there? Let me see if I can get my other tripod out for a few minutes, and then you can have my ugly mug back on screen for a few minutes if you want. I don't know how long we'll get because literally, as I say, that battery is running out. But this should work. So let me see. I'm just moving a tripod around. I don't see why it won't. And I'm wrecking my living room in the process, guys. Things I do for you. Here we go. So that should work. So I'm just going to swap the phone across. Onto this tripod, and as long as it holds it, it's not the best tripod. No, it wants it to stay that way around. There. Stay. Good tripod. And we're back. Bit of a delay, but that's okay. I'm glad you think it looks nice, guys. 26 in. How are we all doing? You're dizzy. Well, I have just turned around, but no, I'm surprised the battery lasted as long as it did, to be honest, but we managed to... Well, Renee, I actually spoke to Let's Resin again the other day, and I said that they need to basically stock more products on the UK website because it's not been updated in about 4 or 5 months. And again, with no new products on there, I think that's where they're missing out on a lot of custom from the UK, you know. So let's hope that they listen, you know, because I do like Let's Resin's products as well, let's be honest. I think they do really well with some of the products, but they need to restock the UK website because I see all of these amazing products in the States and I can never order them from the UK, ever. And I think that's the disappointing thing if you're based in the UK. It's not been updated for at least 4 months, I don't think. The only new product I've seen on there is the chrome powders. But that's about it. So, and I see all of the amazing products in the States, but they do need to update that UK website. if they want to keep on growing their UK customers, you know. Well, I can point them in the direction of some big warehouses. There's lots around me. Oh, Lisa's still in as well. Yeah, it's not. They've only got limited products on there, and that's the biggest problem that they've got. But yeah. Oh, what's amazing for Laura? Well, I hope you're doing better as well, Laura. I hope you're still enjoying your new home where you moved into as well. Yeah, I don't, honestly, I don't buy that they're looking for a bigger warehouse as an excuse. There's loads of warehouses, and the UK economy at the minute, there's lots for rent or there's lots for sale. So there's definitely the space if they want it. And the products they have got in the UK, they managed to get to me within 24 hours. So they just need to stock more of them. But yeah, is what it is. They either want to grow their UK market or they don't, Renee. You know, it's their choice. But again, it'll be interesting to see how that develops over the next 12 months or so. But the great thing is we have got UK suppliers of certain products as well, which are, again, amazing. Some of the smaller suppliers that we've got in the UK that I found, I think are phenomenal as well. So it's great to support those smaller suppliers as well as the big ones. You know, I like to work with anybody that wants to work with this channel or the resin community as a whole. Well, we'll see. We'll see. As I say, it's a huge market. And I think the resin market in the UK is growing massively. And I think it's all you need to do is look at the amount of new YouTube channels popping up. There's a lot of those that are in the UK. Again, it shows it's a growing market. But yeah, how is everyone today? I'm knackered, to be honest, after finishing that piece off. But I'm glad I've got those wings done. So tomorrow, did anybody in chat not see my sneak peek of the universe earlier? Would you like to see it again? Because I am going to close this live down in a minute because the battery is about to die. But I'm just wondering if there's anybody in chat that missed the sneak peek earlier that would like to see my universe, which is now finished. Oh, Claire didn't see it. Michelle didn't see it. Oh, I'm going to get up then. It's a heavy piece, though. It's like weightlifting. Oh! Are you ready? Look at this. Absolutely stunning. By far, one of my favourite pieces. You'll have to ignore the shine off my other screen. I've got some flamingos or pelicans. But look at it. All those planets in there. That beautiful shine. The galaxies. The sun. Where I sanded the edges down. Everything just came out absolutely perfect on that. I'm so happy with it. It's genuinely, I think, my best piece. Now I've got 6 hours worth of editing to look forward to in order to get the video out for everyone. But yeah, it's absolutely stunning, that universe. And top tip, wood glue does work, guys. Wood glue does work to stop the drips, but it takes 3 days to dry. So maybe don't use wood glue. Maybe just stick with masking tape. I'm glad you all like it. Yeah, it's going to take me, as I say, I think 4 or 5 hours worth of editing to get the video done. But hopefully, if you remember, it should be coming out in the next week and a half. If you're not a member, it should be coming out in the next 3 to 4 weeks. So I think I should be able to get it done by then. It's not a table, no, I don't want it as a table, Claire. I just want to have it as art. So at the minute, I've got it on like one of those large plate stands. And what I'm going to be doing is probably carving it its own wooden stand that it can just sit in, because I want it to just be art, not a table. Doesn't need a function for me, just a beautiful piece of art, which is what it is. Thanks, Jill. Cool.